Are you mentally fighting with yourself about money? No need, we'll do it for you. I'm your host Arka and welcome to our segment Rich or Regret, where we find out if your next financial decision will make you rich or make you regret it. Now, there's a huge trend and hype going on, especially around electric cars in Malaysia, and it's on the rise. And there's a debate over whether we should stick with petrol cars or switch to electric, which is gaining momentum. While some believe electric vehicles are the future of transportation, others feel that petrol cars still offer more advantages. So in this episode, we've invited our debate specialists to tackle the question of which is the better option to own, a petrol car or an electric car. Now we have our debaters. First up, one who has been a strong candidate, and still is a strong candidate for electric vehicles. Now, one, share your views on why you would stand behind the wheel of an EV.
Okay, hi guys, my name's Juan, and yes, thank you so much, Arka, for bringing this topic to light because it is a really good topic. Electric vehicles, petrol vehicles. I mean, let's face it, people, we are living in a day right now where we need to help clean up our act for Mother Earth, or else there won't be any Mother Earth after this. And I'm all for EVs because they're cheaper in the long term. Electricity costs are generally lower than that of petrol, and you can charge it at home, especially during off-peak hours. It's a huge cost-saving factor to consider. And also, EVs are seen as environmentally more friendly, and they produce like no emissions at all, or no direct emissions, something that we as Malaysians are becoming more increasingly concerned about because greenhouse gases,
global warming. All right. Now on the other side of the table we have Pavi, who is a firm believer that we should stick with the traditional petrol cars is the way to go. Now tell us why you prefer petrol cars over electric.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Pavi and I'm on Team Petrol because classic cars always win. Now, we have to remember one thing, that we live in Malaysia and we are not much familiar or ready for EVs yet, okay? And it's expensive, even the down payment itself, it's expensive, and I think it's only affordable unless you're rich. And when it comes to petrol cars, it's cheaper, easily accessible, and I think it's for everyone. So definitely, I'm on the petrol side.
All right, thank you for that, Pavi. And with that, let the debate begin. We'll keep it clean, no profanities, and may the best debater win. Now, my first question is, you mentioned Malaysians, whether we're ready for it, right? Do you think Malaysians are ready to switch to electric cars, or do petrol cars still provide more practical benefits given the current infrastructure and lifestyle needs? Let's start off with one.
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly, I think yes, Malaysians are ready, and we see it nowadays. Increasingly, they are ready to make the switch to electric cars. Because of environmental awareness, it's growing. Government's also giving a lot of incentives for EV vehicles, and it's more appealing in a sense. There's a lot of key advantages to owning an electric vehicle. The long-term cost efficiency. You also, you can argue that maybe the initial purchasing price is going to be higher, but the maintenance and fuel saving will quickly balance it out because you will spend so much less in terms of maintenance in the future, and also in terms of you don't need to pay a lot for petrol. And even nowadays we can see there are a lot of electric vehicles on the road right now, a lot of Teslas, BYD. It's a huge compared to last year. If we had to compare it to last year, there were so many in the market now, and so many different brands. Last year we were all just thinking, Tesla's the only EV around. Now we've got at least 3 to 4 different brands on the road in Malaysia that can be seen. You yourself, Pavi, just now Just yesterday, you were saying, "Oh, what's that nice vehicle? It looks so fancy." It was an electric
I was
vehicle.
admiring.
You were
I wasn't
admiring it.
considering.
The
It's just that,
aesthetics,
yeah.
You
just,
liked
it's
how
just
it
like,
looked.
oh, it looks good. Okay, that's it.
Anything to add to that?
I'll just leave at this one point: electricity cheaper than petrol. Done.
All right, Pavi.
Okay.
Any way to rebut that?
I'll take it from there. Let's put ourselves in this situation. We Malaysians, we love to travel. We love long drive. We get one PH, that's it. We can't sit at home. We want to go out. Now, let's talk about the cases that we usually face when it comes to EVs and petrol cars, which is running out of batteries and running out of petrol. Now, when it comes to running out of batteries, the charging stations are not fine. They are available, but they are not widely available like our petrol
Throughout
station.
Malaysia, you mean?
Yes. Now, for example, now we're going for long drive. Let's say we are going to like these rural areas like Terengganu or something. We have petrol station, or someone could help us with it, to fill up in a bottle as well. But when it comes to EVs, it's quite difficult for you to travel in peace. So I don't think so. Like you asked, right? Whether if it's
Malaysians are ready?
no.
All right.
I think the country itself, they need to do something about it. Then we can consider
You mean
EVs.
provide infrastructure?
Yeah,
first?
more. Yes.
Okay, all right, interesting.
With regards to the infrastructure, yes, they're not as widely available as you say, but there's something being done about it. For example, now companies like Tenaga Nasional as well as Petronas, they're investing a lot of money in expanding EV charging stations and their networks around the entire of Malaysia.
They are still expanding. So the
You're
practical
saying it's not
decision
ready
would
yet.
be, yes, exactly. They're still expanding. It's not like ready or on the go, unlike petrol cars. Like when it comes to petrol cars, we have our local workshops, local mechanics available, ready, set.
Okay, but you're also not considering the fact that most of these vehicles now, those new EV vehicles that are in the market, they can run on a single charge for over 400 kilometers. So that worry that you have, that worry that you think, oh, we're going to run out of battery, 400 kilometers, that's a lot of mileage. I mean, you can definitely get to a charging station in a one round trip. So yes, I know, I understand the fear, but I think I fear my petrol running out more than my EV car running out of battery.
All right, interesting. Both made solid points here, but on to the next question. Electric cars, right? One made a point saying they're more efficient for Malaysians who mostly drive in congested areas. So, considering the stop-start nature of traffic, do you think EVs are more suitable for the city, or are you saying it can be applied in any area of the country?
For me, I think this is where we take the cake. When EVs really, make a name for themselves, because electric cars, they are significantly more efficient, especially in city centers like Kuala Lumpur,
High traffic areas.
very high congested traffic areas, because we don't have to worry about all those factors, where when you turn on a petrol car, the moment you switch it on, it's already wasting petrol.
Okay.
Your petrol is running, your petrol is leaking basically. But when it comes to these electric cars, they when they spend a lot of time on driving in congested areas, their unique design, the energy management systems, it's one of those things that stand out. It's a standout feature in an EV car.
So you feel like it trumps the petrol car?
Of
in that
course,
sense?
any other day, because unlike petrol cars that continue to burn fuel even when you're sitting idling or just sitting in one spot in traffic, EV cars, they can switch off.
They can switch off on the road.
On the road, they can just switch off and then they switch back on automatically when you need to drive.
Based on the pedals, lah.
Yeah, based on the pedals. There's a unique way of doing it. So basically, when you stop in traffic, then the EV car will okay, it
So it's
knows
like a
you're
new technology
stationary.
lah.
Yes, it's the technology, and that's what makes it very, very efficient and also very eye-catching to many Malaysians who live in city centers or congested areas.
Oh, Avi, do you think petrol cars are better than EVs in traffic areas?
Okay, like one said, right? Like during during traffic times, he can switch off his car and then it can travel up to 400 kilometer and all that stuff. It's not always going to be
The
a
case.
good day, lah.
Oh.
Okay, not every time. Whereby when it comes to petrol, okay, how to say, like in KL, the traffic is unpredictable, right? And also we have fuel efficiency model, like the king of the road, Myvi. Okay,
Yeah, I've
and
seen those.
I'm coming back to the same thing. Okay, heavy traffics can deplete battery life.
Okay.
I believe in that, and in my case, yes, it, like what he said, the petrol is leaking and yada yada yada. But
But you're saying that applies to both cars. Both is wasting energy.
both is wasting energy, but the options available for us is even more wider
Or to refill.
to refill.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you're going to talk environment wise, I don't think so. Just a car alone can stop it.
All right.
There's a lot more.
You don't think millions of cars on the road are not, adding to the greenhouse gases that are being...
I agree with that, but I think that's just not the only factor. There's more to it. Like I think there's, even when it comes to buying things and all that, we should get rid of plastics and all that stuff. So just the car alone, I don't think so.
Okay, you said there's more to it. Let's look into that. My next question here. I know you want to fire her one. I'll give you your chance, okay? Now, in terms of resale value, okay, which type of car holds its value better in the Malaysian market? Electric or petrol? Pavi, what do you think?
Definitely petrol, because it's very obvious that let's give an example that if we're going to get a second-hand car, no one is going to consider an EV
Why not?
because it's expensive, and usually not everyone. As a seller, I know that I'm not going to get immediate buyers.
For an EV? 'Cause-
For an EV.
Okay.
Okay, but when it comes to our local cars or any cars, let it be Vira, Proton, Kalisa,
petrol cars in
just
general.
petrol cars in general, we can get buyers immediately. So definitely there is a value in resale.
So your opinion is that Malaysians, if they're looking for an EV, it has to be new. They're not willing to buy a second-hand EV.
I would say that. But if you're asking me if there's a value in resale for petrol cars, definitely. And we will have the confidence also to even get a second-hand car, is because we know that we can get the services or even like the spare parts immediately, unlike
so
the
you
EVs.
trust the mechanics here to deal with a petrol car more than an EV?
I'm telling the services that are available. Yeah,
Okay.
like we know that, okay, you know what, we can get this done because we have all this. Whereby in EV,
So
the
you're
spare...
saying if you buy an EV and it has problems, you don't know what to do.
No, not that. Like the spare parts or whatever it is, usually they comes from overseas. So it will take time and it's costly compared to our petrol cars.
One, thoughts?
That's where I think you're wrong. Because I honestly believe that while petrol cars may currently now hold the higher value or in the future, but electric cars, they're rapidly catching up. All right, like I said, there are a lot of brands coming to Malaysia right now. There are a lot of, Tesla recently just opened their factories here in Malaysia as well. Their head office, they got an office here and everything. So people will start to think one thing, okay? There's going to be better resale value in the future because of the fact that government is giving a lot of incentives for EVs right now. So there's a lot of money being put into this EV market, which will grow this EV market, and that will, of course, in tandem, will grow the second-hand market for EV vehicles. And then the resale value will increase in the next few years, I think. And not only that, all these new EV brands like Tesla, Nissan Leaf, they're also well known for their low maintenance costs. So people will take that into consideration. When they have low maintenance costs, instead of having to service your car every 3 to 6 months, maybe you service an EV car once every year, because there's not a lot that you need to change. There's not oil that you need to replace. There's no, the things that you need to do for a normal petrol car, you will do it every 3 to 6 months, where an EV car, you won't need to do it because there is no moving parts or extra parts that need to be maintained. So it can be maintained for lower. So people will take that into consideration. And then that will also impact the resale value. And of course, when it comes to fuel, you don't need to think twice about it. because it's cheaper to get electricity instead of petrol. And then my final point would be that of the lifespan. Okay, all these new EVs, and with advancing technology right now as we speak, the lifespan of electric vehicles have increased, especially the batteries. So, a normal petrol car maybe can last you what, 4 to 6 years before it starts, causing a lot of problems. Where you have to take it, you have to go for major overhaul and everything. These EV cars can last what, up to 8 years, 10 years. So in the long run, in the future, wouldn't you think it's the better option? So the resale value of an EV car might be expensive, but worth it in the long run.
Well, so far I think both make solid points here, but so far electric vehicles in Malaysia haven't been around for 8 to 10 years, so we don't know for sure whether they actually last that long.
And only 25% of Malaysian owns
Electric
EVs.
vehicles?
Yes.
I see.
So it's not even 50% yet.
But
So
it's
that's
still
why I'm
important.
saying it's still expanding.
So-
When it comes to petrol cars, we already know the pros and the cons, like how to say, we are well informed.
But with EVs, you think it's still theory?
Yes.
Well then, that's up to you whether you want to buy an electric car or not. But my next question here is, which type of car is most suitable for Malaysian consumers that are looking for a vehicle that will meet both short and long-term family or business needs? Because you mentioned EV can last 8-10 years, but maybe someone doesn't want a car that will last that long. Maybe they plan to resell it off later or something of the sort. Pavi, how about you start off?
Okay, so when it comes to like long-term and short-term family or business needs, definitely it's petrol, is because we Malaysians, we like to stick with the familiarity. Okay, like what I told you just now, like we know that how it works, okay, and this is something new in the market. Let it sit and let it run for some time, then we will know whether if it's a good thing or not. Like recently, remember there was a case at Bukit Bintang. Apparently this the owner, his car got locked and he couldn't get into his own car.
It was an EV.
Yeah, it was an EV. I think it was like the big Tesla, something like that.
Was it a Cybertruck?
Yeah, I think that's the Cybertruck. I think
see.
so. I think so. Okay, so we don't want this kind of issues when we are with our family or running for business needs. You get what I mean? It's very uncertain.
Okay.
We don't want that. Yeah, and whereby petrol cars, we already know how it works. Like we can just get any services or any help just at our fingertips. So definitely petrol car for me all the way.
One?
Okay, we take into consideration like it's when it comes to EVs. You mentioned, oh, you're gonna get locked out of the car. It's not like
It happened.
it happened, yeah, but it's not like it cannot happen to a petrol car as well. You can also get locked out of your petrol car as well. So what do? You call the mechanic and they'll come over, they'll open the car door for
Okay.
you. The same thing with an EV car. You can call the mechanic, they'll come over,
But
they'll
do
find a
you
way
think everyone in Malaysia can own an EV car?
Yes, I think it is possible that everyone in Malaysia can own an EV car because one, it's getting increasingly viable because of the fact that it saves money. It is for long term and short term, for families, for businesses. Everyone will think long term and they'll think short term. Oh, if I get this EV car, I'm not only going to save money on petrol, I'm not only going to save money on maintenance costs, I'm going to make sure that this EV car will last me a long time, and in the long run, it's more affordable because you will be spending way less than if you were riding in a petrol car. Other than that, like I said, less moving parts in the than a petrol vehicle. You don't have to kill your budget just to maintain your EV car. And the fact that EV cars and city driving work hand in hand is the major point, right, that I'm trying to make. Like for a family, for businesses, all our businesses, we are located here, city centers and all that. When we're going to drive out with our families, we normally go where? We want to make sure that everyone's comfortable, everyone gets where they need to get, and they don't have to worry about having the hassle of filling up petrol or whatever the case may be, or running out of petrol. So in the long term, yes, EVs are more suitable for city driving, for the suburbs, for businesses, families. And then other than that, of course, is that of Malaysian government. Our Malaysian government has already been putting their foot into EVs since like 2 years ago already, and they've been investing more money. Even for today's budget, I'm sure there's going to be a huge allocation for EV vehicles, because that's the next big thing. We haven't even considered that of how it will impact our future in terms of our future generations, in terms of how it's going to impact the world.
What I'm hearing is that you emphasize on EVs and the city life, metropolitan, but not all of Malaysia is built that way. Take, for example, Sabah. If you want to get from one end to Sabah to the other, you'll be going up mountains, you'll be going through swamps. Are EVs ready for that?
I've seen personally that they are now making EVs, 4x4 EVs. I've seen personally, you mentioned the Tesla Cybertruck, that was just a concept. No, it's a real thing. They actually have 4x4 EVs now. So these 4x4 EVs can get through all those rough terrain as well. So
But
we're not
can
just limited.
everyone afford it? That's the question. When it comes to petrol cars, it's a practical decision for Malaysians, because our income itself starts from like what, 1,005. So I don't think so it's for everyone. You get what I mean? And like when you said that the spare parts in long term it helps and all that, but this is what I heard. I'm not sure. Maybe you can educate me on that. That apparently like one spare part itself, it's about Malaysian money 20k. Is that true?
For me, it depends on the part. I don't think every single part is going to be 20k.
Exactly.
No, I don't think so. But in the longer term, that part can probably last you long. So it doesn't like if you're for a petrol car, you change your oil like how many times? Twice a year.
Yeah.
Twice a year on average, and that is roughly around what, 1,000. All right.
Yep.
And then you accumulate that over the next 5 years of owning that car, and throughout the entire lifetime of you owning that petrol car is the cost of one spare part from an EV vehicle.
I think the main issue here, there's still a lot of unfamiliarity with EVs
Exactly.
that Malaysians aren't really swayed yet. But I think give it time. And like you said, you think EVs can last 8 years.
Yeah, he believes in that.
I don't think EVs have been around 8 years yet, so it's difficult to say. But again, both of you have made very great points, and I'm like on the fence here. So let's do a quick recap on both sides so we know where we're at. Starting off with one who prefers electric cars, and so far he's been feeling that EVs offer long-term cost efficiency with lower maintenance and fuel savings despite higher upfront costs. So you suffer now, enjoy later.
Investment.
All right. Electric cars are also highly efficient for Malaysians in congested areas like KL here, and this is due to the advanced energy management systems. But Pavi pointed out that's also available in petrol cars. Now, while petrol cars are currently, for now, holding the better resale value, EVs are catching up in one's opinion and may even surpass them as the market evolves. There's also the matter of established EV brands like Tesla, Nissan, Leaf, which have low maintenance costs, and this will add to their appeal. Now, Pavi, on the other hand, you think that petrol cars are king and still are king.
Yes, will always be.
Will always be.
Classic.
And you feel this way because petrol cars offer more practical benefits for most Malaysians right now due to the existing infrastructure and lifestyle needs. Like you mentioned, there's more petrol stations than there are charging stations.
Yes.
And you also think that they traditionally hold better resale value, and this is driven by market familiarity and demand. There's also concerns about battery degradation and high replacement costs that make buyers hesitant to invest in used EVs, lowering their resale value. So petrol cars are more suitable for Malaysian consumers in Pavi's opinion, because especially if you're needing reliable vehicles for both short-term and long-term family or business use. So it seems that both sides here were at a stalemate once again, but it's up to you, the audience, to decide who won this debate. You can drop a comment below and let us know who do you think made the better case. Be sure to follow us at cleverstock.my on our social media channels, and don't forget to visit www.cleverstock.live to catch our live sessions from Monday to Friday, where we cover everything finance. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Think of the turtles.
Scan now and download Cleverstock, your trusted source for market insights.